Kick up your feet, pour yourself a drink. It's time for the Wine and Whiskey Socialites with Jack and Chris. This episode, we are talking about our weight. It is titled Powerlifting Every Time We Stand Up. And yes, you are allowed to laugh at that. Just a reminder, this is not family-friendly or workplace appropriate unless, of course, you're an enforcer for a loan shark.
So sit back, put your headphones on, and be ready to be entertained.
This is going to be a subject that gets interesting.
It is. It's something that is a touchy spot with both of us.
Well, and it's a touchy spot for a lot of people.
It is.
I've come full circle from my early years, and I just want to start this by saying I wish that I was as fat now as I thought I was in high school.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I've heard that so many times.
Because I was made to feel that I was overweight when I wasn't. I've always been bigger. I've got a bigger frame. I'm tall. I can basically pick up a basketball with one hand. And I'm streamlined for sports. I don't have the tiny waist. I don't have the big boobs, much to my girlfriend's dismay. I don't have the big butt. You know, I was like, I'm built like a refrigerator. And for a long time, my self-esteem was wrapped around in my weight because I was made to feel that I was less than by people who were close to me. And we're not going to get into that because then I have to pay you therapy charges, whatever, therapy costs. But I have been struggling with my weight a lot longer than you have, which is why our perspectives are different.
So I was always smaller. And then I hit midlife and everything, once I hit like 45, everything just went to hell. In a handbasket. My hips spread, my boobs grew.
Much to my girlfriend's enjoyment.
Yes, my husband's enjoyment. But everything just went to hell in a handbasket, and I gained 50 pounds. Now, to be fair, before that, I did work at the school board, and I was up, and I was moving, and I was constantly, not sitting down. And then I started with the government, and I'm sitting a lot. So that, I think, has a lot to do with it. But oh my goodness, I wish it was as easy to take it off as it is to put it on.
So mine goes back a little further. I suffered an assault when I was 11, but I had blocked it to protect myself. So I started putting on some weight when I was 12. Now, that could have been because of the trauma, but it also could have been, fucking puberty.
Yes.
Because your body's getting ready for all these changes. And people started getting concerned about my weight. And at 12 years old, I was asked to go on a diet, which I think is the worst thing to ever do to a 12-year-old. First of all, I don't like the word diet. I like active living, healthy lifestyle, eating right, that sort of thing. And then it just kind of, I dropped weight. I really did. Within a year, I dropped weight. Probably shouldn't have. I probably needed that for what my body was about to go through. And then it was just little digs after that from people who were close to me.
Yeah.
And I wasn't really overweight. I'm looking back thinking I was just obese and disgusting. And I wasn't.
No, you were not.
I wasn't at all. And then fast forward, when I was 17, I had a very abusive person in my life, emotionally, verbally, physically, that sort of thing. Really destroyed my self-esteem, actually destroyed me as a person, just completely shattered me. And so now I've got to get back from that. And there was a lot of head games and psychological stuff around my weight there too. And then I had my son whenever I was 20, and all of a sudden I was just shedding weight.
Wow.
Because I was breastfeeding.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I went dry, and I had to stop nursing, and I was afraid of the weight coming back on, so I did something really stupid. I started taking laxatives. Now, my ex, my son's father, he was tracking it. And whenever I found out that he knew, because I stopped because it wasn't working.
Yeah.
I said, why didn't you say anything? He said, because you would have never let me back in the house, and how was I going to keep track of,
Yeah.
So I was on this in my high school days. I could go easily 3 days without eating. I felt like I was being watched all the time when I was eating. These are the Coles notes, by the way, people. This is the condensed version. So I wouldn't eat in front of people, and as soon as by myself, I would shovel the food in as quickly as I could because heaven forbid someone see me eat.
Yes.
These were my habits. These became my habits. And the worst part is I love healthy food. I love fruits and vegetables. Don't get me wrong. I like my grease.
Yeah.
My girlfriend is like, you really like your burgers and fries. Fuck yeah, I do.
For me, it's chocolate.
Oh, no. I love my deep fried foods.
Yeah,
I
do too.
I love chicken wings. I love, oh my God, deep fried dill pickles. Mozzarella sticks.
Yes.
I love burgers and fries.
Okay, stop.
But I also love my veggies.
Yes.
I love my fruit salads. I love my healthy foods too.
Yeah.
It's to find that balance. And a lot of us that are overweight and have been overweight most of our lives, it's usually linked to trauma.
Yes.
And that's where it is for me.
Yeah.
Now, I have now come to accept myself and my body. And I'm not going to lie, my girlfriend plays a very big role in that. She looks at me like I am the most beautiful woman in the world. And for a long time at the beginning of our relationship, that was tough for me.
It's because you are beautiful.
But thank you. That's the hardest thing to do, is to say thank you.
Yes, it is.
So,
Say it again.
thank you.
There we go.
I'm gorgeous. I know it.
Yes, you are.
There goes the ego. But no matter what my size was, and I know I'm all over the place, and I apologize, but that's when it comes to weight, we are. We're bouncing all over the place, right?
Yes.
I was always active. I was always active.
Yes, you're very active.
I was always dancing. I was playing sports. I was
swim.
walking, swimming. You know, one summer I was swimming 1 to 3K 5 times a week. Like, it was just, I was. But pain is slowing me down now, which is making it harder to deal with my weight.
Isn't it great getting old?
No. See, that's the thing. That's the thing. Because there's people my age. You don't have the pain I have.
No.
These are injuries. I've had
Yes.
arthritis that's been eating away from my joints for 30 years.
Yeah.
So I got off topic. I didn't mean to.
That's okay. I threw you off topic.
One of the reasons why I struggle with my weight now is because my pain has become debilitating. Walking has become difficult. And I think that when people look at me, they think it's because of my weight. When I've had enough medical experts tell me that no, I would still be struggling if I wasn't overweight.
Yeah.
So I've had my whole life to deal with this.
Yeah.
And fight it and hate myself and come full circle and accept myself and finally accept myself and my weight and love who I am. And now, because of the pain and what's happening to my joints, I'm going to have to lose weight no matter what, because I may require surgery.
Yeah.
That's a mind fuck and a half right there.
It is, for sure. And for me, I'm an emotional eater. And I've had so much happen, with Steve having a stroke and then his breakdown and everything that happened. I just started eating constantly. And, my husband loves to snack, so I would start to snack. And he's a big guy, and I wasn't, so I just started eating everything in sight and trying to keep up with him, and it doesn't work.
I'm going to hit pause right there, because it just made me flash back to when we worked together at the school and we went on a class trip. And you were tiny.
Yes.
But man, you could eat.
I've always been able to eat.
And I'm like, I'm going to keep up with this bitch. And we're at McDonald's. And
I knew you were going to bring this up.
You got a burger.
Yeah.
And 6 nuggets.
Yeah.
And fries.
Yes.
And a drink.
Yes.
And you followed it up with a sundae.
Yes.
And I tried with my big fat ass to keep up with you. And when I'm like trying to get through my sundae, and you're like, what do I want now? I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
My metabolism was always really high. And then all of a sudden, it just quit. And it's crazy.
But stress can do that to you.
It can do that, for sure.
My metabolism is permanently on vacation. Which is why, I'm surrounded by people who get hangry.
Yes.
My girlfriend, my mom, my brother,
me,
my son, you, my nephews, they all get hangry.
Yes.
I don't, because I don't experience hunger very often.
Yeah.
I could go all day, and the first time I eat will be 3 o'clock in the afternoon, which is part of my problem.
But that's not good either.
I know.
Your sugar peaks, everything gets thrown out of whack. You have to have some small meals. Now, I know, for my weight loss, the thing that has worked for me, and I know Chris does not like it,
I'm
but
already gritting my teeth.
I have been doing keto. And for those of you who think that keto is just eating bacon and eggs, it is not. You also need some fruits. You also low carb fruits. It's all about the low carbs. You also need salad. You need a lot of vegetables. That's what my main part of my meals are. So, for example, tonight for supper, I made a chicken stir fry filled with vegetables and chicken and a sesame sauce, and it was so delicious. And so far, I've lost 25 pounds in 2 months, but it doesn't work for everyone. And there are people who are having health risks from it because all they're eating is fat and grease and bacon and eggs, which is not what keto's about.
Well, so keto is advertised as a high protein, high
Yes.
fat, low
Low
carb.
carb.
And Jackie and I have had several conversations about this because I'm a deep believer that unless you have a food allergy, I do not believe that you should be cutting any food from your diet. I believe that you need everything in balance. That I say that after I talk about my love of deep fried foods.
Yes.
But about 7 years ago, that's when I shifted from the school to the radio full time.
Yes.
Because at one point I was working for the radio part-time, school full-time, and at the rec center
Yes.
part-time, plus doing respite.
I don't know how you
And
did
I was
it.
selling vibrators on the side, baby.
And she wondered why she was tired.
Oh, no, the vibrators rejuvenated me. But
I may have bought one or two of those.
That's a whole other conversation. Walking Jackie through how to buy her first vibrator. I'm so glad I was a part of it. But we digress, darling. We digress. So what happened was I left the school because I was getting stressed. I was miserable. I was not miserable at the school, but I was always getting laid off. Never knew if I was going to have a job. And it was just really taking its toll on me. So when I moved to the radio station full time and I suddenly had more time on my hands, I was now down to only 2 jobs as opposed to 4 or 5. I started to feel better. And all of a sudden, it wasn't a conscious decision. I just stopped eating the pop and chips. And the funny thing was, we just gone on a big shopping spree and chip dip and chips and pop were on sale. And I just stocked it all up and then never touched it.
Wow.
And I started walking. I was walking up to 6K a day. I was
Yeah.
doing 30 minutes of cardio, which was dancing. I recommend that to anyone.
I love
Fuck the
dancing.
gym. Dance around your house for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
If you have a Wii, get yourself Just Dance and go. I know I'm dating myself. Who has a Wii anymore? But I dropped 65 pounds.
Yeah.
And then the pain started. I went for a walk one day, and I was doing really well. And then all of a sudden, I got about half a block. My leg started to hurt to the point that I was limping. I turned around and came back, and my left leg was swollen.
Yeah.
From the knee down. It was badly swollen. And then it was just, of course, I was stubborn. I didn't get it checked out. But I've recently found, 7 years later, I'm bone on bone in both my nips.
Your nipples? That's a whole other podcast.
Oh, my nipples. Yes, I'm bone on bone in my nipples. How the fuck do you do that?
I don't know.
I need to go take anatomy. Bone on bone in both my knees, and my right hip and my left hip has a cyst. Right now, my challenge is the pain. Now I got to try to figure out how to drop the weight. But how do you lose weight if you can't move?
So I would recommend keto because you don't need exercise and it's healthy and you're not hungry, or hungry.
Here's the trick, though.
Yes.
Because I've had people, and here's the thing.
Yeah.
Everybody comes to me with advice.
Yeah.
Try paleo, try
Yeah.
keto, try this, try that. And the intentions are good.
Yes.
But it frustrates me.
Yeah.
Because I know how to lose weight. I know how to eat well. I know how to do it.
But you can't do it right now.
Well, it's not even just that. I have to address the underlying factors of why I gained weight in the first place.
Yes, you do have to do that.
Because if one more person tells me to have the gastro bypass surgery, I'm going
my
to
goodness.
lose my fucking mind.
Yeah.
And I have entertained the idea, but you have to be ready to buy into that lifestyle.
Yes.
And there are people who have had the surgery just to lose the weight, and they're putting the weight back on because they're not buying into the lifestyle.
Yes.
I've talked to people who've had the surgery, and they say they will do it again.
It's a life change.
But they would do it again no matter what. But I know one girl, she has to take enzymes now because she can't digest food.
Yes.
I know someone else who had to have additional surgeries. There's so many complications. I would rather figure out another way to do this.
But if it's worked for you and you've had this surgery, kudos to you, and that's
Absolutely.
fantastic. I just don't think it's something that I would be comfortable with, and of course Chris isn't comfortable with it. But for those that it's worked for, that's great.
I'm not ready to deal with the complications.
Whatever works. If you're, doing Weight Watchers and it's working, that's fantastic. Find something that works for you. For some of us, it's exercising. Some people, like Chris, can't exercise right at this time. For some people, it's just cutting out junk food and they'll start to lose weight.
But
and
you
that's
have
great.
to, if you're trying different things and it's not working for you, you got to figure out
Yes.
why.
Why?
And chances are there's something there that's blocking
Yes.
you.
Yep.
And it could be a thyroid issue. It could be
Yes.
physiological.
Yeah.
It could be thyroid. It could be, or it could be emotional. It could be mental. So
Always consult your doctor first before any of this because, it could be